Welcome to Grief is the New Normal. I'm Dr. Heather Taylor, a licensed psychologist and grief specialist, here to help change the conversation about grief and build community and connection while we all adjust to this new normal we are living in. This podcast is for you if you are grieving or if you are supporting someone in a season of grief. I'm glad you're here. Hey friends, welcome back to Grief is the New Normal. I'm Dr. Heather Taylor, licensed psychologist and grief specialist, and today we're giving some space for real, full-bodied, unapologetic space to a grief that often gets dismissed, minimized, or straight up ignored, and that's pet loss. If you've ever been told it was just a dog, you can always get another one, at least it wasn't a person, and you wanted to scream into the void, you're in the right place, because for many of us, our animals are more than companions. They are our family, our emotional lifelines, our grief witnesses, and our constant sources of comfort. So today we're talking about why pet loss can be one of the most profound and overlooked griefs, what makes this kind of loss so hard, how to cope when your world gets quiet in the most heartbreaking way, and why your pain deserves validation, not comparison. So let's get into it. So let's talk about why pet loss hits so hard. Grief doesn't care about species. Your love was real, your bond was real, so is your grief. So your grief also very, very real. Here's what often makes pet loss uniquely devastating. They were with you every day. In the everyday, not just holidays, not just the big life moments, but the boring Tuesdays, the late nights, the depression funks, the routines. They gave you unconditional affection, no judgment, no emotional complexity, just pure presence. They were often the one constant when everything else felt unstable. They held space for your sadness when no one else could or would. They were that daily routine anchor that just kept things moving. So when they're gone, it's not just the loss of a pet, it's the loss of safety, of rhythm, of emotional support. It's the loss of someone who made you feel less alone. You know, we had pets. Story time with Heather. So we had pets growing up, and every time one of them died, it was so painful. So story time with Heather. So I have had many pets throughout my life, and anytime we lost one, it was always just so devastating. My first cat, Abe, was technically my dad's cat, but he loved me. He would sleep with me every night, and he would always, knead the biscuits on me when we'd go to sleep in my bunk bed. He was great. But the pet loss that probably hit the hardest for me was my soul cat. Her name was Ami. I named her Friend in French because I had a pen pal from 5th grade. We met in Florida on a family summer vacation, and she was from Hawkesbury, Ontario. And so she would write me letters in English to practice her English, and I would write her letters in French. And so when we got this cat, I decided to name her Ami in French as a nod to my French pen pal. And she was the best cat. She knew when I was in a bad mood or when my anxiety or depression were out of control. She'd just come up and just lay down next to me. She got me through a lot of really hard heartbreak and seasons, and she was just always there. And I loved her so much. And so when she got cancer, and it was really painful losing her. We also had this really great dog. His name was Gus, after the mouse in Cinderella. And when he passed away, that was another just devastating blow. We'd gotten him when I was a junior in high school. Him and his brother Cowboy were just such great pets. And, not having that same kind of furry companion comfort, it was just different. It was just different. And I mean, they're with you in the day-to-day. They're with you in the routines. Like, I'd get ready for school every morning and, wash my face, and Ami would then sit in the sink and she would like lick the water from the sink, or I'd finish my shower and she'd like lick the water from my shower. But she just was always with me in all of my routines, and not having her there was really challenging in a different way than like losing a grandparent was, because I didn't see my grandparent every day. I saw my cat every day, or my dog every day. And so their constant presence not being there was devastating, because they were so familiar to me and brought such a sense of comfort and rhythm. Yeah. So, I mean, I think this kind of grief gets minimized often, right? The world expects you to just get over it. And I think what's hard is like people don't get it, which blows my mind, because so many people have pets these days. They say things like, at least it wasn't your child, or you knew this would happen eventually, or they had a good life. And while some of these statements might be true, it doesn't erase the pain of losing them. It doesn't make your home feel less empty. It doesn't make your body stop bracing for a bark or a meow that's not coming. Pet loss is often disenfranchised grief. It's grief that doesn't get the rituals, it doesn't get meals delivered. People might not even ask how you're doing. And so I really want to say, you don't need anyone else's permission to mourn your pet like they were your person, because they were your person. So how do you begin to process this kind of grief? How do you move through the silence your pet's left behind? So here are some things that I recommend. One, name what you're grieving, not just the pet, but the role that they played, your emotional support, your walking buddy, your Netflix veg couch buddy, your grief witness, the one who always showed up no matter what. Number two, create your own rituals. Create your own rituals. You don't need a formal memorial to honor them. You can light a candle or make a photo book or donate in their name. My partner had a dog, Winnie. She was a rescue corgi. And one of the sweetest things done in memory of her, my mom got a star named after Winnie for my partner, who, I mean, Winnie had been his companion for a number of years. And when she got cancer during COVID, it was absolutely heartbreaking, losing her. And my mom had a star named after her. And like, that was really special and precious. And like, it's still on my partner's bedside table. And it keeps her name with us forever, right? It helps us say their name out loud and often. Number three, let yourself grieve out loud. Cry, sob, scream, whatever needs to throw things, whatever needs to come out. And if someone says you're being too emotional, bless and release. Like, all right, you can think that, and I'm going to let that go. Number four, find others who get it, whether it's online pet loss support, therapy, or coaching, or one good friend who really understands. You do not have to explain or justify the grief. You just need the space to feel it. Now, if your inner critic has been whispering things like, why does this hurt more than losing some people? Is something wrong with me? Let me remind you, you had a full body, full heart connection to a being that loved you without condition. That is not a small thing. That is not replaceable. That is not silly. You are allowed to mourn them the way they showed up for you, fully, honestly, and without apology. So, as we wrap up this episode, let's talk through some takeaways. Grief over a pet is not lesser. It's not optional, and it is not irrational. If your pet was your person, your loss is just as worthy of love and support as any other. You do not have to shrink your sadness for anyone else's comfort. They matter, and so does your heartbreak. So here's your gentle invitation for this week. Say their name out loud today. Tell a story about them, or do something that lets your body feel what your heart already knows. They were home. So if this episode resonates with you, please share it with someone grieving a pet, or someone who needs help understanding what this kind of grief actually looks like and feels like. Remember to be kind to yourselves today. Take care, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys. That's it for today's episode of Grief is the New Normal. If this conversation resonated with you or you think it might benefit someone else, please share it. Sharing can open doors to healing, understanding, and normalizing these griefy conversations. If you're craving deeper insights or ongoing support, consider signing up for the Grief Gap newsletter. It's packed with resources, tips, and personal stories to help you navigate your grief journey. Visit the website www.griefisthenewnormal.com to subscribe. For those who prefer a more personal touch to their healing process, check out my grief journal, Authentically Unapologetic. It's designed to help you explore your grief on your own terms, with prompts and exercises that encourage reflection and growth. I'm Dr. Heather Taylor, and I look forward to our next meaningful conversation. Our soothing tunes are provided by the Datacorns. If you're interested in sharing your story, collaborating, or learning more, please email me at hello@griefisthenewnormal.com. You can also stream the episodes on YouTube for more engaging content. Until next time, keep exploring your grief with intention and support, remembering you don't have to do this alone.